First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to this group, the Bujinkan Enthusiasts Training Concepts and Ideas group. Naturally, this is not an authorized Facebook group or channel because, of course, Soke doesn't authorize anything, but it's for us. It's for us practitioners to talk about things to do with training, new concepts, ideas that are usually not discussed perhaps in a more formal setting or in other groups. One thing I'd like to do as well is also add areas into this group for diet, body maintenance, like looking after the joints, proper supplementation, foods, etc., because there is a good portion of the Bujinkan community that naturally are over 35 or over 40 or even older now. And so this could be a good sounding platform for those ideas as well. Now, George did post a very good post. He says it may be controversial, as George sometimes is, to do with training. And he made a statement that the methodology and delivery systems used by 99.99% of the Bujinkan instructors, irrespective of grade, is stale, non-functional, and nothing more than role-play exploration of kata that are designed to teach children, etc., etc. And for the most part, I agree. I am not too sure about the percentage there, but I would say it would be in the 90% for sure. The people that are training, of course, they have their own motivations, but they're training other people in ways and methods that have nothing to do with being able to defend oneself. And I think this is something that needs to be addressed. My opinion is that if you are a Shidoshi or a Shihan or higher whatever, and you're running a dojo and you are bringing on people to join your group, first of all, you have to find out what they want and you have to cater to that. But you also have to be honest. Are you able to teach these people how to defend themselves in the shortest amount of time? Now, some people may say, oh, but the Bujinkan isn't about learning it. You cannot learn the Bujinkan system in the shortest amount of time. But if you think back even to feudal times here in Japan and Asia or in Europe, or even now the current state of things when you join the military, you're not trained to become an expert in a so-called system. You are trained to become an effective weapon so you can deliver very lethal blows to your enemy. Now, as civilians, of course, you should not be delivering lethal blows to your assailant if at all possible. However, I think the training in the early stages and then ongoing should be more to do with learning effective self-defense. And this also goes into incorporating the very good Bujinkan system of evasion, of awareness, so you don't get into these situations. But if the shit hits the fan, so to speak, your instructor should have given you the tools and the methods in the dojo so that you can develop a very good group of set techniques whereby when you are unfortunately attacked, naturally when you're attacked, everything you learned goes out the window. Your mind shuts down. You go back to the primal instincts. So if you have been taught properly how to defend yourself, your body will instinctively revert to these techniques that will help you rather than you swinging wildly or just panicking and freezing. So my point is, the first part of one's training should be to do with learning self-defense. Now, the instructor should be, the Shidoshi or Shihan, should be able to discern what movements in the Bujinkan curriculum can apply to street effectiveness and make modifications if necessary. We don't wear armor anymore, etc. So a lot of these over-exaggerated, heavy movements, low stances, whatever. They need to be modified for the modern urban environment, etc. And classes on self-defense should be ongoing. It should be at least one class a week. This is just in my opinion, because we have so many people now that cannot throw a combination of punches, and if they do, what I'm seeing quite often is that lunge, overcommitted punch, which is a good training mechanism when you're working with someone, and the UK is doing it so you can actually learn to apply the technique, but then it doesn't progress into something more balanced, to something a little bit faster, a combination of punches, kicks that don't come in. Also learning how to evade baseball bats, sticks, knives. You have to update the knife training regimen, because a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing or have seen just will get you killed, more or less. But I'm not saying it to sound arrogant. I hope I don't come across as arrogant, but I've always been annoyed with the level of dishonesty that a lot of instructors have when they're teaching a technique. They have no experience in a survival situation on the street with a knife, or with a weapon, or against multiple attackers, and they are just doing these role play things, and they're telling their students, oh, this is going to work, this is all you need, just one strike here or there. It's not realistic. So George did well with the post. He kicked it off with that. I'd like to hear more opinions. We have had quite a few here which are pretty good. Quite a few people concur, especially the punching and kicking in the beginning stages. There needs to be a higher proficiency in Bujinkan practitioners. They need to modify it. They need to be more imbalanced. They need to know how to hit the bag with gloves or without. When I train with people, I don't run a group. That's why I don't really care for the certificates. But if you do, certification is important. I know, especially in the Western world, where people that don't know much about martial arts, they believe your rank is your proven ability. But in the Bujinkan, we don't have a standard to measure that. It's pretty subjective, and that's fine. I'm not into that. But what I'm saying is that I pad up, and I get my training partner to pad up, and we do things. We train hard, so naturally the padding will absorb the punches. We hit for real, except to the head. We'll go a little bit softer because it is very dangerous. But we'll hit real, and we'll adjust our technique. We'll say, well, that would not take anybody down, or that would, and we learn that way. Also, learning the soft style is very good, but you have to mix it also with the hard style. So some portion of your training in the class should be doing it very softly, and what the Bujinkan has been doing for the past several years, but also doing the hard training, the hard hitting, the hard movements as well, in a well-supervised environment, so nobody gets their arm unnecessarily broken, but you know what I mean. And add a little bit of realistic simulation, like sparring, whatever. Pressure testing, okay? So that's what we are discussing. So I want to hear more. I want to see more comments. Let's get this flowing. There's no ego involved. There's going to be some disagreement, but let's just talk about it and suggest curriculum changes, or not necessarily changes, but what you do in your classes that works, what you found not to have worked. I want to hear all these things, okay? All right, so looking forward to hearing many more excellent comments from you guys. All right, that's all from me for now, and we'll talk again real soon, okay? Cheers.